Hi everyone. Today I would like to share some thoughts about writing music without expectations. And by that I mean writing music with no pressure from current trends, from maybe your past successes, and in general about our own limitations and expectations about what the music should be. First, I would like to share some thoughts about what I think is the creative process. From my experience and from what I've read about other musicians' experiences and from musicians I've met and collaborated with, there's always the idea that, when you sit and improvise with your instrument and an idea comes, that we don't really know where this idea comes from. We might be very experienced in our instruments, we might be very experienced with songwriting and composing, and we might have collaborated with other musicians and then absorbed what they have. But when you sit down with your instrument and then you improvise or even play something else, or maybe you walk on the street and a melody comes in your head, it's really a mystery of where that comes from, and sometimes it doesn't have to do with what you know already. It could be something new. So there is this mystery that the initial idea comes from, and the other mystery that happens is that once we have the complete piece, we've maybe improvised, maybe we came up with an idea, and then we've developed that into a song or a piece. And then we record it, we release it, and we share it with the world. We don't really know how it's going to be received. And there are many examples of bands or artists that they released an album and they thought that one of those songs will do really well, and then it turned out that another one that they didn't think about was really successful, or it was really received well by the people. So once we have that out, it's outside of our control. And I have an example actually which really started the idea about this whole video. I wrote this piece, solo guitar piece. I'm a guitarist composer and I write guitar music. And I wrote this piece, A Wonderful Life, during the lockdown in 2021. And I thought it was a very intimate and delicate piece. It was inspired by the Ludwig Wittgenstein, was a British Austrian philosopher. I was reading a lot of philosophy at the time. And I wrote this really intimate, introvert, delicate piece that I thought that it wouldn't be the one that will stand out from the EP that was part of. So when the EP was released, I put more efforts into some other pieces from that EP to promote and to push a bit more. But it turned out that this piece actually was the most successful from that EP. Successful always in relative terms. With the most amount of streams, even actually now, which is 3-4 years later, with radio plays being included in a Spotify editorial playlist, and even actually when I was playing it live without introducing it as part of my program, people were asking, well, what is this piece? Can I have the score to play it? Can I have the name so I can listen to it online? And I was really surprised by that, because I didn't even announce it on the program. Sometimes I was opening with it, or sometimes it was in the middle of the program. And without even putting attention to it, people were asking and responding. And then I thought it's really interesting that that everyone has received that. Not everyone, but most people have received that so well. And they were saying somehow something happened and they connected with that piece and they related with that piece. But I didn't I didn't expect that, and I didn't foresee it when I was releasing the album. And that brings me to my next point, which is I think one of the biggest things for those of us who release music, or we share our work, whatever that is, whether it's painting or writing or music, we share it one way or the other with the world. There is a certain trap that once you have something that is has any kind of success relative to you and what you've done before, there is the trap that we are trying to recreate that. So we're trying to say, okay, so I wrote this piece, A Wonderful Life, and then it's done really well. I would like to write another piece like that, to recreate and repeat that success. And I think this is very tempting, because we always try to go away from the uncertainty and then try to have a proven recipe for something. But I think it's a trap, and actually I think it works. It doesn't. It actually has the opposite results of what we expect, because the first thing is that going back to my own experience, when I wrote that piece, I wasn't thinking about, let me write a piece that is going to has a lot of streams or has some radio plays, or it would be a good live piece. I didn't think about all of that. I was immersed in the philosophy at the time of that Ludwig Wittgenstein. I was inspired by his life. I wrote this piece I was very present at the moment I was writing, and I was just trying to express with music what I was feeling inside. And it was really that I was just immersed in that thought and state. I wasn't thinking about how long the piece would be. I wasn't thinking about when it's going to be released, if people will like it, how it will go live. I wasn't thinking about any of that. I was just being very true to how I was feeling at that time. And actually, even now, because most of the music I write is by improvising on the guitar, so I might wake up and have some morning improvisation. And whenever I'm having some expectations, so I say, okay, I have released an album, but I haven't written really anything for 2 or 3 months. So I'm putting a little bit of pressure on myself. So maybe I should write something now. I should come up with something this morning. Whenever I have this mindset, not a lot of good things happen. And if I have any ideas, they seem very forced, and more often than not, I'm not really doing anything with those ideas. I let them go. And actually, sometimes during that improvisation, where I see that this kind of mindset is not taking me anywhere, is not letting me be present in the moment, and then let whatever ideas might come arrive and flow, I switch my mindset. So I say, you know what, if I'm going to improvise today for 30 minutes and whatever happens, happens. If I come up with something, it's fine. If I come up with something and I don't like it, I can delete it. Or maybe I don't come up with anything. I just improvise and just enjoy this 30, 45 minutes, whatever the length is, this process. And whenever I switch to this mindset, I always have much better results. I have the pressure is off, and then I can actually concentrate on the music. I can concentrate on what I'm doing at that moment. If there are any noises from the outside, how am I feeling? Are there any birds singing outside? Are there any cars? Are there any noise? when you're really present in the moment, there are so many things that you can take inspiration from, or let everything just be absorbed, and then something comes out in the form of music. But when you have those expectations, you are shutting yourself from your environment, and then you're not letting each moment bring you something. Sometimes it brings you something, sometimes not. But the best way is to really let yourself go of that pressure to come up with something when you're writing. And ironically, when we let ourselves go from that pressure, things start to flow. So this is what I've noticed for myself, and what I've noticed from other people as well. The other thing is that I know us musicians like to sometimes to impress. So sometimes I'm thinking that I would play something that, I will try to maybe, is this piece going to impress people? Is this going to be maybe technically difficult? So I can impress some other guitarists or musicians, or maybe I can impress them with my chord knowledge, maybe has some complicated harmony, or anything really that you might think in this way. And this is also something that doesn't work for me, and I don't think it works in general, because you're doing the same thing you were doing with the other expectations. You are kind of forcing the creative process to be in a certain way, and then you have your own thoughts that affect the creative process. So once I stop thinking about impressing people or showing off or anything, and then I'm thinking, I have this idea. How can I develop this idea? What's the most natural way for this idea to be developed? Then a lot of good things come. And in my experience, all the pieces that I'm proud of came from this process. So I would say for a better, more flowing creative process and writing music, from my own experience, the best way to do that is to be present in the moment, being present in the way you feel, being present in the way the environment around you is at that moment. And to do that, we have to let go of those expectations. And once we have an idea, once you have maybe a chord progression or a riff or anything like a melody or a rhythm, and then we let this idea go where it wants to go. Not thinking about length. For example, not thinking about, it should be 3 minutes because streaming platforms prefer pieces or songs that are 3, 4, 5 minutes. Just let the idea go where it wants to go. Develop it fully, and then just follow the natural progression of this idea instead of forcing it. Because if you force it, then you're getting away from this free-flowing process that we're trying to achieve, and where the music really comes from. And then, of course, when we have a finished piece, we have a finished product that we share. We record it, we upload it to streaming platforms, or make a video out of it, or we share the score or anything. Once you put it out to the world, you really, the piece really takes a life of its own. And then we don't really know how it's going to be received. we might have some ideas, but these ideas are very often proven wrong. And we have this uncertainty. But if this piece was true to you at that given time that you wrote it, and if it's written and developed to the best of your ability at that time, and something you're proud of, then I think for me this is all we can do, really. We can have these three components, we really work on it, we really put everything into it, we make sure that we are happy with the piece, it's something you're proud of and you want to share, and then you share it, and then your part is done, our part is done. And then it's up to the listeners to decide how to receive it and how to respond to it. So I think these are my ideas about the writing music. If you have any comments or feedback, I would very much like to know what you think and to discuss it. What's your creative process? What is your experience about sharing songs or pieces and then having a preconception about which one is going to be successful, and then maybe that's proven wrong or proven right? Whatever it is, let me know. Thanks for listening. Keep playing, keep creating. Bye.